सवितुर्भरमरूपं ज्योतिः परस्य धीमहि यन्नः सत्येन दीपये सत्येन दीपये। ॐ तत्सवितुर्भरमरूपं ज्योतिः परस्य धीमहि यन्नः सत्येन दीपये सत्येन दीपये।
A key, the light still kept in being's core, the sunward of an ancient mystery's sense. Her name ran murmuring on the lips of men.
ॐ तत्सवितुर्भरमरूपं ज्योतिः परस्य धीमहि यन्नः सत्येन दीपये सत्येन दीपये। ॐ तत्सवितुर्भरमरूपं ज्योतिः परस्य धीमहि यन्नः सत्येन दीपये सत्येन दीपये।
Dear friends, hearty welcome to you all to the exhibition Darshan Messages. It has been organized by Savitri Bhavan, but it has been brought to you by the Dutch national, a professional photographer, Miss Wilhelmina Pernette. Wilhelmina graduated from the prestigious Academy of Fine Arts in The Hague in the photography class, and has been a professional photographer with several very prestigious assignments the world over. She has been a very good friend of Auroville. She has been coming to Auroville for the past roughly 25 years, volunteering in different units and engaging in various activities in Auroville, in different units of Auroville, providing different services. She has also been a very special friend of Savitri Bhavan. Almost every time she visits the place, she stays in Savitri Bhavan. And this is her second exhibition. The first exhibition in Savitri Bhavan, brought by Wilhelmina, happened 2 years ago. So hearty welcome to you all. And the organizer of the exhibition, Wilhelmina Pernetta, would like to thank, first of all of you for coming and appreciating her humble effort. And secondly, to the Savitri Bhavan team, to the coordinators of the Savitri Bhavan project, Helmut and Dhanalakshmi, for first of all hosting this exhibition and providing their valuable suggestions and feedback during the preparation period, and also especially to Dhanalakshmi for organizing the translation of the introduction text into Tamil that you can see in the corner. Also, the Savitri Bhavan team, Murugan, Manikantan, Venugopal and Arumugan, for helping to mount the exhibition. And last but not least, her thanks go to our dear carpenter, Lakshmi, from Pondicherry, Wilhelmina's friend and long-term collaborator in exhibition projects, who mounted with wonderful images in very high-quality frames made of teak wood. A man with golden hands. Regarding the exhibition, it is arranged in chronological order, so you can start familiarizing yourself with these exhibits from this corner, where you can see some items dating back to the 50s and 60s. Gradually you make a round, a production of, and you finish on the other side, where you can see the latest exhibit from 2024. And at the entrance to the exhibition, you can see the texts meant for free distribution, introductory texts to the exhibition. Also, those of you who wish to familiarize themselves with the content of each and every card, you can do it at the entrance. There are 2 folders with complete texts of each and every card exhibited here in French and English. You are welcome to explore those folders. And also there are some refreshments outside. So thank you very much for coming and enjoy the exhibition.
First of all, immense gratitude for such a wonderful display of Darshan Messages. Women and Savitri Bhavan team and each and every one. It's such a delight to just go through them. Just to give you a little background, in Darshan, the tradition of Darshan is a well-known thing in India. But in the ashram context, when did the first Darshan take place? Very difficult to say. The first recorded Darshan is when Amrita had his Darshan of Sri Aurobindo on his birthday. It was not known as Darshan, but Sri Aurobindo would sit and everybody would go past him. The year is 1913, the mother had brought him down for the first time. And he managed to slip in through the close-knit ones, and then he described that as he just went round Sri Aurobindo, he saw 2 lamps of light burning in darkness. It's the most amazing description. Those who want to really take a look at that. It is Darshan, though it's not documented as part of the Darshan. And the most complete Darshan that I can ever imagine is the mother's first seeing of Sri Aurobindo. So it's literally what is mentioned in Savitri as soul, saw soul, both with the capitals S. So that is darshan because she has seen from the deepest depths of her soul, and when she sets the gaze on Sri Aurobindo, she knows that who is he. And she described that she used to see Krishna in her visions, and the moment she saw him, he recognized in him the Krishna of her visions. And she instantly knew that his presence is enough, and even if there are thousands of beings plunged in the deepest ignorance, his presence upon earth is enough that day will come when all darkness will be transformed into light. So this is the darshan, darshan of darshans. On Sri Aurobindo's part, when he saw the mother, that was also a darshan, because darshan is never connotation. So when he saw, and later on Parinda, his brother asked him that, what did you see? He said two things. Mira is born free. And second thing he said is that for the first time I saw that she stood before me in complete surrender from the highest heights to the smallest cells of the body. And at that moment I knew that the dream of divine life will be realized. That is the condition for divine life. Complete surrender from the highest heights to the smallest cells of the body. But of course this is the rarest of rare darshans. So darshan ordinarily means seeing, as you know, but it's seeing of a different kind. Nowadays we use the word very loosely. Aapke darshan ho gaye. I am happy to have your darshan. But darshan is basically a very special kind of seeing from the depths of our being, and it is generally used in the connotation of either you see the Guru, the Master, or a divine representative. So this seeing has two sides to it. One is that the soul seeking through the rounds of ignorance suddenly stands face to face with the Master. On the other hand, it is also true that the Divine Master sees the soul. And this is important, though he is not having darshan of the soul. But it has a great significance, because while seeing the Divine or the Divine representative in form, which is a great felicity, Divine is there within, we all know, at least we believe in it, but it's so difficult to find the Divine. Divine is up above on cloud 9, we don't even know. Only clouds you know are clouds of doubt. Forget cloud 9. But when the Divine comes within the range of form and name, it's a very, very special something for which earth has, and all earthlings are eternally grateful. So, darshan is that scene when the earthbound soul, which is clouded by a state of ignorance, suddenly has a look, its gaze sets upon the Divine. So what happens is, due to this contact, there is a contact which is formed. So due to this contact, there is this sudden surge of the psychic. It wakes up. Because all it has been seeing all kinds of things. And this contact wakes up the soul with it. And then the rest of the journey is, in that one moment, destiny is sealed. Because once it wakes up, once the fire is lit, nothing can really blow it up. So darshan is a form of initiation. And it is a form of, if you want to put it that way, in the Veda it is said that the fire is lit when the higher and the lower, they describe it wood. One wood has to be held in the hand above and another one below, and when you rub it, then fire is lit. Sounds like a very regular process. But the wood above is the Divine, and the wood below is we struggling in the lower hemisphere. And when the two meet, there is this suddenly surge of aspiration, surrender, joy. Even if our outer being may not always recognize it, though with Sri Aurobindo and the mother, we read the accounts, almost everyone recognized something marvelous happened in those two moments. And the other side is the Divine seeing us. Actually, we can't go to the Divine unless the Divine has called us. This is a very well-known truth. And this is sort of answers people often ask. Am I fit for the yoga? Have I been called for the yoga? If we are here, we are called. As simple as that. The mind complicates endlessly. So, previously during darshan days, this truth was followed even in the most material form. So, it was not like anybody could come and have darshan of Sri Aurobindo. So, people used to write to Sri Aurobindo. They used to send a photograph. The photographs were seen and approved. And the actual Darshan days that we call today, that started in 1927. But something had begun to happen in 26, which sort of gave an indication to the disciples that some change was going to come. So they would experience the atmosphere was very, very charged, as if the gods were descending. The gods were descending. And that we see there's a long account of the story in the mother's conversation. And during that time, something else also happened. Normally the mother would not come out and meet and give meditation to anyone except 3 or 4 sadhakas. She used to remain largely confined to her room, and in ritual window, some care she would take. She would not speak much, and people would wonder that why doesn't she give us meditation? Once Amrita asked Aurobindo that I believe Mira is a very great yogi. Aurobindo says yes. He says, how beautiful if she could give us meditation. Aurobindo says one day, impelled by the divine love, she will come out, and that indeed will be a very great day. So in 1926, suddenly people saw that Aurobindo started sending some more people to meditate with the mother. So some of them wrote that we are meditating with you. Why do we need to go to the mother? And Aurobindo said, if you think you cannot receive help from the mother, then you are unlikely to receive help from her. So it was a change which was in the air. And the change happened on 24th November 1926. We know there was the descent of Shri Krishna into the physical body of Aurobindo, what is known today as Siddhi Day. And from that moment, Darshan Day started. We can in a way say it was the first Darshan. And after that, Aurobindo withdrew, and the mother was in the forefront. And so on 21st February, it was also a way of putting the final seal and sanction of the new arrangement, if I may say so. So the mother and Aurobindo together, they gave the darshan. And during those days, Aurobindo will sit on the chair and the mother will sit on a stool by his side. It's so amazing. The stool, if you see, is amazing. And she would be on the right of Aurobindo because her hand has to be free to give. Aurobindo is on the left side. It breaks all Indian norms. So why? Because he gives to the mother and the mother transmits. She is the bridge between us and the Supreme. So this was the arrangement. And the first darshan was on the mother's birthday, 21st February 1927. And the message that was given on that day was the first chapter of the mother. The book, the first chapter was entirely the mother. In a way, he introduced the Divine Mother, and he said that the power that mediates between the God and the grace of the Divine Mother. After that, 2 more darshans followed. Second was Aurobindo's birthday, 15th 1927. Again, message was given, and 24th November 1927. So there were 3 darshans officially, and messages were given during these darshans. Not all of them. There are some places where the messages are missing, but basically messages were given. The purpose of these darshans was different. So one was normal darshan. People had many darshans in the ashram. For instance, the balcony darshan. Very interesting how the balcony darshan started. So there used to be one lady standing outside the balcony and she would wait that till I happen to see the mother, I won't have my food. So the mother would know the thoughts, somewhere appear on the terrace, somewhere, then she would go. Then few more ladies joined. And then it changed into a balcony darshan. There were flowers darshan, vegetable darshan, all kinds of darshan. So the darshan had different connotation also in the ashram. But what we call as darshan days were these 3 standard days, and these were days with a difference. And the difference is that Aurobindo from 1926 onwards, after 24th November, his siddhi was complete. Now it was a question of the evolution of the earth and carrying it toward that great fulfillment. So on these days, he would bring in the descent of very special forces, whatever was needed for the disciples, and of course the supramental force, because it had not manifested, it was descending in Aurobindo. So he would bring in and the disciples would come in contact through them. Their body acted like a receiver and a transmitter and a filter, because all are not ready to receive. So they would know how much each wood is ready to receive. That's why, unlike the balcony darshan, the general darshan, all could join. These were individual darshans. The list was made right from who will be the first person to come and so on and so forth. So the story goes that when Charu Chandra Dutt, he was Aurobindo's great friend, and there's a very fascinating piece of history, but I'm not going into it. But just to touch upon the story, he used to call Sri Aurobindo chief, because they were part of the revolutionary group. And Sri Aurobindo came and he was very annoyed with Sri Aurobindo, that why did he leave the movement and come away? And in that state of anger and annoyance, he threw away all that Sri Aurobindo had given, except one of the Gita which Sri Aurobindo used to use the chief. And he gave that Gita to Charu Chandra and he kept it. And his wife would notice that, he said, you are becoming an irritable old man, why don't you write to Sri Aurobindo? He said, no, I am not going to write to him. There is a reason why I come to this history. So, finally, Dilip Kumar Roy became a mediator. And he wrote to Sri Aurobindo, do you remember Charu? He said, yes, I remember him as one of the front rank of humanity, with whom I have fought the battle of the ages. In this life, I couldn't call him, my own preoccupations, I suppose, and the work was of a different kind. When this letter was shown to Charu, he was on the earth. He remembers me. He remembers me. So, his wife told him, see, I told you. Still there was this hesitation. Mother is French, I am a revolutionary. How can I go down before a foreigner later? Anyways, he came to Sri Aurobindo and Sri Aurobindo asked him, you are still smoking hookah, but hookah is not allowed in the ashram. He said, I am not a slave of hookah. Hookah is slave of me. I can give it up, and he gave it up. And then Sri Aurobindo asked him, did you see the mother? He said, no, I have back pain. He wanted to make an excuse. Sri Aurobindo says, what is the problem? You can't bend, mother will stand a few steps above, and so you can do pranam. So he had no choice. So Charu Chandra Dutt used to be the first person who was to come and see the mother Sri Aurobindo. Once he had come. Before that, I don't know who used to be the first person. So once there was some person so-called very important whose name was also in the darshan, but he was in a hurry and they wanted to put him in the front, and suddenly a message came from Sri Aurobindo, stop. Who is coming? Who is coming? So then they came to know it's not Charu. No. So you see how particular everything was divinely designed and preordained, not according to our ideas. So Charu will go and then others will go, and that's how, and everybody will get to know it. There are very interesting stories of how Sri Aurobindo would, when that person is face to face, somebody outside the door would try to take a peek, and sometimes Sri Aurobindo would look, because he would know everything, and then he would understand that no, I am not supposed to do it. They are very fascinating stories. So anyway, one last very interesting story, plenty of stories of darshan. One of them is a very famous saint, Swami Shananand. He was blind in both eyes, and he was also in the darshan. So someone asked him, you can't see, and Sri Aurobindo won't speak. So, pray tell me why you are going to darshan. So he told them, the person who had asked him, he replied, you are the saint in his own right, to be following. He said, you people have eyes, how much can you see with your eyes? I am not going so that I can see him. I know I don't have those eyes which can behold the Lord. Even you people don't have the eyes which can behold the Lord. But I am going so that Sri Aurobindo can see me, the mother can see me, their place can follow. So this is the other side of the darshan. That's why I often say when people speak about room darshan, I said, look here, I mean, it doesn't matter. You may not see the divine, but he is seeing you. Somehow we don't, that's a different story altogether. We don't understand that feeling. when we go to Sri Aurobindo's home on Darshan Day, it is not about us seeing Sri Aurobindo materially. That's a very materialistic way. But Sri Aurobindo and the mother would still be there looking at us. And that is the other side of the darshan. So these cards started coming, and there were 3 darshan days. 1938, 23rd November night, the inevitable, or rather the unforeseen, unexpected happened. And that was Yugoslav forces attacking Sri Aurobindo just around the time when the Second World War was brewing up. And they knew where is the hub from where they can get everything. So, on the night of 23rd November, mother was actually already engaged in the Second World War. She was all behind her to make sure that she is safe. She has said to the mother's wall. And at that point they attacked, he fell down, he had a fracture. So the 24th November darshan was cancelled, 1930. That night. Before that, on 15th August and 21st February, there was a greater freedom. People could come, say a disciple would say, I want my so and so to come, is it okay? And Aurobindo would say, okay. But for 24th November, there was much more restriction. People just couldn't come, and there's very interesting stories of people who were forced for darshan by some friend, come, have darshan. And Aurobindo and the mother would always say, there is a letter of Aurobindo, you should never ask people to come for darshan unless they feel the urge. So this idea that darshan day come, please join in, it was not there. It was a very special event. If somebody is not ready, just imagine, the soul is not yet ready to wake up and focus on the basic life. There are instances of that. So it's not a yoga where in evangelistic fervor, okay, come, it's a darshan day, you must come. Let people come, get adjusted to this life, and then it's fine. So when the fracture took place, the people who had come, one of them was Guru Wilson's daughter, 1920, Nishtha, whom Aurobindo gave the name Nishtha. So she was, suddenly this happened and she was disappointed for darshan. But she is one of those who took it most beautifully. She was reading the Gita and she realized, okay, I have to practice equanimity. The Lord knows best. And she stayed on. And we know what happened when she stayed on, and she had already very damaged physical condition. And then the Second World War on the next side, President of America had sent the fleet. Please ask her to come back. And she said, I know you can take better care of my body, but if I go from here, who will take care of my soul? Who see her as a Mali, yes. So that's how people waited. Okay, 24th November, 30th, there was no darshan. So they expected 21st February. But the mother would not give a darshan without showing the So then they prayed, requested, Mother, next 15th August is far away. And so, graciously on 24th April 1939, there was one more darshan. And that's how from that day onwards, because the day of the decisive, tangible sign of the decisive victory over the adverse forces. So from 39, 24th April was added as a darshan. And as you know, 24th April 1973 also happened to be the last darshan day when message was given. So last darshan day message was beyond man's consciousness, so reality. It's something that takes you to totally a different. That message is very short, very powerful, not meditating upon. All the messages are about meditating. Then just to, as a postscript, in 57, 58, 56, Mother says something very interesting. 56, this conversation is somewhere in July. She says, when earlier, before the supramental manifestation, darshan days meant something else. So it meant that there were special descents and Aurobindo would be there and the descents would take place and they were given to transmit to people. But subsequently, and especially now, these descents are not necessarily taking place on darshan days, but they can take place any day, unexpected. So we have to be more ready. Probably there are many more darshan days, who knows? will take place unexpectedly. And many of us have such experiences. So now people ask that then why you continue to give messages? Because that's where we continue now. But she says, see, the atmosphere now is different. It's not the same concept as the atmosphere then. But now, sometimes it's very dark because all kinds of people come with ignorance. She says that's not the deliberate, but with ignorance. They don't know. They have come and sometimes you see hawkers and all these things outside. But we give the message. So why the messages are given? All these messages were selected by Sri So she says because now we are spreading the truth. Now that the manifestation has taken place, we use the Darshan Day for spreading that consciousness far and wide to the world. And then she reveals the secret of the messages. She says each of these messages is something which we have tried, tested, confirmed. It's like an experiment has been done and stamp has been put. This is 100% true without any error. That's what Sri Aurobindo says, that he is looking for perfect perfection where there is no possibility of error. That's supramental. He says nowadays those messages contain those truths which we know, we have tried and we know that they are, all of them are true, but the supramental truth. So these messages are very special. Things which are confirmed and they have been given to people for spreading it far and wide. So the Darshan Day messages continue to have their relevance and will continue to have their relevance as long as humanity is there, because how far it will spread. Earth is too small. Who knows? Somebody leading a message somewhere in these vibrations are spreading far galaxies. Who knows? Some soul is awakening. Somebody is awakening, if not a psychic being, then somebody is awakening to their light. So this is a special thing on Darshan Day. Later on there are many days which were added, like 5th December, then 1st January and 25th December. So all these are different, but these classical 4 Darshan Days and the way they have to be celebrated, or rather to be observed in quietude, in quiet receptivity. That's what should be said. That they should be observed in quiet state of quiet receptivity. If to that we can add the completest possible self-giving, because to remember the first darshan, as I said, the darshan of darshans, the mother saw Sri Aurobindo. She gave herself completely. So I take as the gold standard, the yardstick, the benchmark, that what should we do on Darshan Day? Mother has shown us the way. To give ourselves completely to Sri Aurobindo and the mother, and to dedicate ourselves once again for their work, which is to hasten the reign of divine love upon earth. And that's why the supramental truth consciousness is working. So thank you so much, Chairman.